Pity party starts today at now o'clock. Ends never. Hi, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life, and today I'm so thankful for Penny. Penny is one of my subscribers, and she left another comment with some suggestions, some video suggestions, and that's awesome, and I'm super excited about it. One of the video suggestions, okay, so she has video ideas, and she like listed out 5 of them. Super awesome. One of them was the best lesson you learned in childhood that still applies today, and I thought of several. And so I actually might use that topic idea for a couple different videos, but they definitely are, it would be too long to do all of them together. A little bit of background on this particular life lesson that I learned, and it has probably made the most impact on who I am as a person that I can think of, as far as, you know, experiences or things that I've had or things that happened to me or people said or that kind of thing, is one of the more important ones. And so here's the background. I was in high school, and I was having some issues. So I was seeing a therapist, but I moved to a new therapist, and so I'm talking to this therapist, and I was explaining to her all of the horrible things that had happened to me that were like the reason why I was, you know, struggling in this, and why I was acting this way, and why this was happening, and what, you know, it just, these were the horrible things that had happened to me. Feel sorry for me. And she looked at me, and she kind of just paused, and she paused long enough that I looked up at her, because I wasn't looking at her, but I looked up at her, and when she got my eyes, she said, "Amy, your suffering is normal." Like, not what I wanted to hear. I was so offended. So offended. It was probably exactly what I needed to hear, though. Actually, there's no probably about it. It was exactly what I needed to hear. We don't always have a lot of control over some of the bad things that happen to us. Like, we don't choose them. They choose us, which is super sorry. This is like one of the times that you just want to be last picked, so that you just like are, people are, yeah. Those bad things that happen to us they're just not an excuse. They're not. And they should not be your identity. That's the big thing. You shouldn't, like, when you think about yourself, you shouldn't think, these things define me and they're all bad. Like, that's horrible. You know, if you have, you know, autism, and you've been in a car accident, and you've had, you know, what, just like, I'm just listing whatever I can think of. When you think about who you are as a person, and you were to, you know, somebody were to say, you know, tell me 5 things that, you know, who you are as a person, what you list should not be, I have this, I have that, was in a car accident, I was in this, I have, like, whatever it is. Those bad things that happen to you should not be the way that you define yourself. The thing that you have to kind of keep in mind is that just because what happened to you is worse than anybody else that you know, and maybe it's worse than everybody, maybe that, you know, that particular trial is worse than everybody else on the planet. Guess what? Your suffering is still normal, because other people are having trials that are the worst thing for them. Your trials don't make you special or unique. That's not how you define yourself. You define yourself by the good traits about you, and the way that you push through things, and the things that you've learned, and how you've helped people around you. Those are the things that should be defined, that, you know, should define yourself. If I were to look back and start, you know, list the trials in my life, which I really don't want to look back and list the trials in my life, but if I were to do that, that list would be long. And they would be some seriously, like, big trials. They were not easy, they're just, and some of them are never gonna go away. Like, they're just there. That doesn't make me unique. what makes me unique, what makes me unique is the way that I laugh. What makes me unique is the fact that I get up in the morning singing weird songs. And what makes me unique is the fact that I love to walk around in bare feet. And what makes me unique is that I make up silly songs all the time, like all the time. And I do silly things all the time. And I don't really think about it until somebody starts to laugh and I'm like, oh, yeah, that was kind of dumb, weird. Like, I like to skip. But a grown woman skipping, that's just weird. And I'm not actually good at it anymore. Like, it's hard. But those are the things that make me me, not the horrible things that have happened to me or the horrible things that I can't change. That's not how I define myself, and that's not how anybody should define yourself, because when those things are your identity, when that is important, that you make sure that everybody knows that those things are you, then that's what your focus is. You're gonna just make yourself more miserable. I have a gratitude journal. I write in it regularly. By doing that, it helps me kind of train my mind to focus on the good things in my life and not the things that I couldn't control or the bad things that have happened in my life. There you go. That is the one little piece of advice that has made the biggest impact on me. Your suffering is normal. Get over it. As hard as that is, it is some tough love that I think we all need to hear. When you can redefine yourself by the good things in your life instead of by the bad things that have happened to you and that you had no control over, you are on the way to being a happier person. Is that going to make your life all hunky-dory and nothing's going to go wrong and you're just going to feel happy even when things go wrong anyway? Yeah, I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. It does not do that. However, it does help me have a desire to continue to try and move forward even when things are hard. Sometimes it seems like I push and try to do something and I fail, and I push and I try to do something and I fail, and I push and I try and do something and I fail, and like repeat ad nauseum. It doesn't really make me want to keep trying. I am not a person that likes to play a game I can't win. This is one thing I will tell you. Failing over and over and over again still yields better results than not trying. You are better off for trying and failing than you are for wallowing in your own self-pity. This is important. It's okay to have a pity party. It is okay to cry and throw a fit and give up. It's okay. I know that sounds weird, but it's okay. What isn't okay is not ever finishing your pity party when you continue to do your pity party forever and ever and ever. Like, nobody likes to go to a party that you can't go home from. When you cry and throw a fit and you're like, I can't do this anymore, and you cry until your eyes are dry, what you have to do is you have to get up then the next day and try again, despite the fact that it was too much the day before. Because interestingly enough, sometimes sleeping will make you stronger in a way that you're able to conquer or move past something that you couldn't do even the day before. And if it isn't the case, well, maybe the next day you will. Even though it is okay to complain about something, not all the time, but complain about something, wallow, have a pity party, those things are okay. Like, that is part of dealing with the struggles of life. And so, when people say, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, as far as those kinds of things, I'm like, well, that is sometimes how you work through something. Now, you have to kind of be careful who you wallow with and who you invite to your pity party. Because otherwise you're just going to come off as emotionally needy and people are going to run away from you as fast as they can. Talking those things through and just, letting it all out is helpful mentally. It's not a bad thing. The bad part is when you, again, never have an end time for the pity party. It's like, pity party starts today at now o'clock. Ends never. Yeah, that doesn't work. That does not work. Have your little pity party, cry your eyes out, complain, be upset, do your little thing, take a nap, get up, and go at it again. That's the only way that a pity party is a good thing. When you use that to work through something so that you can keep going. That is something that I learned in childhood that still applies today, and it still applies to everyone today. Thank you, Penny. I really appreciate your video suggestion, and I will probably be making a couple more videos on it, and I will see you next time on A Lolly Life.